So in this video we will talk about how a computer works. So let's begin. Computer is a complex device that is capable of performing a variety of tasks, which has made humans literally capable of doing anything. It requires some components to function or carry out any task, and these components are CPU, central processing unit or the main processing unit. Next is our memory, storage, input unit and output unit. We will talk about these components in details in this video. Understand the functional process of a computer or how a computer works. So computer works on the principle of IPU, which is also known as input process output. It accepts a command or a data from the users, processes it and returns to the user with suitable information or process data or output. Data is basically a raw fact in computer language, and information is the final process form of those raw facts and figures. It receives any data through input unit, processes it using processing unit and memory and storage, then presents the final information or output to the user using output unit. Now computer works on a principle of GIGO, which also means garbage in and garbage out, which means if a user passes a garbage input, then he or she will receive a garbage output only. First we will talk about the processing units. Now the first processing unit or the main processing unit is the CPU or the central processing unit. It is considered the core of the computer that governs, guides and directs the functioning of the computer to process a data and produce an output. It is considered the brain of the computer and the smallest part. Some examples of processors are Intel Core i9-11900, Apple M1, AMD Ryzen 9 5950X, Intel Xeon processors, AMD Threadripper processors, etc. It has two components, namely ALU, arithmetic logic unit, and CU, control unit. Now arithmetic logic unit performs all arithmetic operations like sum, difference, multiplication, division. Any data that needs to be compiled or needs any arithmetical processing will be sent to this unit from the memory. Then after processing, it is transferred to the respective unit. It performs all logical operations of the CPU. Now we will talk about CU. Now control unit guides and manipulates all the data and information flow and interpretation. It sends signals until required operations are performed by the ALU and the memory. It is responsible for the execution of programs. The CU gets program instructions from memory and then executes them one after the other. After getting instructions from the memory, it is decoded and interpreted to which operation to be performed. After the accomplishment of task, it sends signal to the memory so that it can receive next instruction that needs to be finished. Next processing unit is the GPU or the graphical processing unit. It is responsible for the computation of graphical data that needs to be sent to the user as an output. Modern computers comes with integrated GPUs that are coordinated and embedded with the main CPU chip and uses the main computer memory for the accomplishment of tasks. However, few powerful computers come up with dedicated GPUs that add more power to the machine and uses its own dedicated memory, which is also known as graphics memory. Brands like Nvidia, AMD mainly develops dedicated computer graphics, but these days Intel also came up with its own dedicated graphics. Some examples of GPUs are Nvidia GeForce RTX 3090, AMD Radeon RX 550, Intel Iris Xe, etc. Now LP or the language processor. Language processor mainly interprets the user enter data into machine understandable language and machine language into user understandable language. talk about input unit or the input devices. So input unit is responsible for passing the commands from the user to the CPU. It converts user entered commands into electrical or digital signals that is passed on to the processing unit for computation of data. Some input devices are OCR, optical character reader, keyboard, mouse, pointing devices, scanner, camera, etc. The input components are very crucial to the computer as they provide proper input to the computer to carry out operation. Computer will not provide proper or desired output if not provided with proper input, because it works on the principle of garbage in and garbage output. If you provide garbage, then it will provide you with garbage output only. Now we will talk about the output unit. These devices are responsible for providing output or desired computed data to the user. They converted digital or binary signals received from the computer into user understandable language or form. They provide with various forms of output such as hard copy, visual outputs using sound, etc. There are various kinds of output devices that are used in our day-to-day life like monitors, printers, speakers, headphones, etc. Now we will talk about memory. CPU uses memory for allocation and storage of set of instructions to perform tasks, and also some outputs and inputs are stored in a memory. Now there are two kinds of memory. First is ROM, read-only memory, and second is RAM, random access memory. Now a ROM stores cache data for computers so that it can access it for its future usage. It is a non-volatile memory, which means data stored in it can be accessed even after the system is turned off. It stores manipulated as well as raw data to make them accessible to the CPU. Now we will talk about RAM. Now RAM is a volatile memory, which means data stored in it is not available once the computer is switched off. It stores instructions for the CPU to process the data in a sequence and also fetches required data from the main storage unit to compile and manipulate them to produce an output. Modern computers uses DDR2, DDR3, DDR4 RAMs to process data transfer faster. Graphics processor uses even DDR5 and DDR6 RAMs because they need to process bigger data much faster. Now DDRSD RAM stands for double data rate synchronous dynamic random access memory. Now these were the DDR memories that we have talked about. Let's talk about the storage now. Computer uses some storage media devices to store data permanently because RAM and ROM cannot store data permanently. These storage devices are basically pre-programmed and are only read-only memory, which means user cannot configure them internally or change the program in them, but at the same time they can store and modify data in it. So there are various portables and permanent storage devices used in modern days. These are hard disk drives, floppy drives, compact disks, flash drives, solid state drives, cloud storage, etc. Now hard disk or HDDs are basically used for permanent or primary memory storage for the computer. These devices use magnetic disk to store data that rotates continuously to store or modify a data. These devices comes with larger storage space as compared to any other kind of storage media. Now floppy drives have become very outdated in today's world, but they were used in the beginning. They used disks to store data but offered very less storage space. Now compact disks are basically optical drives that store data using optical marks and are very efficient. They offer very less storage as compared to other portable media, but they are very handy for transfer of small data. Now we'll talk about flash drives. These flash drives are basically small and portable devices that are used to transfer data from one system to another. They are mainly accessible using USB and provides more storage area as compared to compact disk. but lesser than hard drives or solid state drives. Now, solid state drives or SSDs are basically storage devices that use no mechanical parts to store data and use ICs instead of magnetic disks. These are much faster than HDDs and can offer up to some Gbps of data transfer rate, but solid state drives offer less storage as compared to hard disk drives. Now we will talk about another concept, that is cloud storage. It is basically a system of storing data in a network attached storage device or NAS, which are not present with the user physically but can be accessed using the internet from any part of the world. This comes handy and are very reliable because in case of data loss from physical storages, backup data can be accessed from them through internet by the user from anywhere. Now let's talk about coordinators. All the main components of a computer need some media to be coordinated and function. Now coordinators are those media that gets this job done. Some coordinators are USBs, buses, chipsets, etc. So chipset is basically a microprocessor chip that coordinates and controls the functioning of the main components of a computer. Different kinds of chipsets supports different kinds of processors and respective components. Some examples are B450M, Z390, X370, Z590, etc. Buses are basically some sets of wires that transfer data and signals from one component to the another. There are mainly three types of buses, namely address bus that carry memory addresses from CPU to the other components, control buses that carry control signals from processor to another components, and the data bus that carries data between processor and other components. USBs or universal serial buses are basically a type of connectivity that offers a huge flexibility and can be used to connect any kind of device to the computer. Now let's talk about the concept of cloud computing. We have talked about the 5th generation of computers in our last video. You can check it in our I button. Concept of cloud computing or the cloud computing is basically a type of 5th generation computer. So we use cloud computing in our day-to-day life almost. In cloud computing, user basically uses some resources that are not available with him physically to carry out any task, but these are resources which are connected to the internet and can be used by the user through internet. This comes in handy because user don't need to fear about data loss because the backup data can be accessed from any part of the world anytime by the user. Some examples of cloud computing are Google Drive, Dropbox, iCloud, etc. This was all about how a computer tasks. This was all for today. Thank you for watching the video. Please like the video, share the video, and comment the video, and subscribe to our channel. We will meet in the next video. Till then, thank you. Goodbye.